So one of the things that I like about real estate the most is the appraisal part. Is really interesting to try to figure out what would this property sell for. Some of you in your videos and your messages last week pointed out to me that you were interested in rehabbing homes, or that you were interested in purchasing homes or investing in properties, or you were interested in appraisal. All these things came up in some of the videos that you did. And I just want to let you guys know that this is a good section to talk about how we can apply the concepts that we're learning in this class to our real life. Okay. So I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit. I'm going to browse through this PowerPoint just to kind of hit on the highlights, but I'm going to expand on the things that I think are important for you to understand for the exam, and also important for you to understand for your job as a real estate agent. Okay. So understand what a real estate appraisal is. That's just an opinion of value provided by somebody who's really educated on what the values are in an area, right? What the values bring in an area. You got to look at the scope of work. You've got to determine, okay, what am I trying to do here? The appraiser is going to say, what am I trying to accomplish and how do I accomplish it? Before he ever sets it out, he kind of does like a little outline for himself. And then he comes up with his opinion. And remember that appraisal has a lot of basis on data and facts, but at the end, the value that the appraiser arrives at has a lot to do with his opinion of its interpretation of that data. The first type of appraisal that I want to talk about that might come up on your real estate exam is the sales comparison approach. Now, if you've ever bought or sold a home, a regular residential property, you've probably seen an appraisal that uses the sales comparison approach. That's the one where we look for comparable properties in the neighborhood that have recently sold or that are active and for sale in the area. And the appraiser will gather those, or if we're an agent doing a CMA, we'll gather those just the same way. And we'll use those comparable properties to determine what the value of the subject property is. The memory trick that my teacher, when I was taking my Florida class, told me, and I like this one, is that to think of Robinhood. Robinhood robs from the rich and he gives to the poor, right? He robs from the rich and he gives to the poor. So when we're making adjustments using the sales comparison approach to appraisal, we're going to take these comparable properties and we're going to adjust them up and down based on their features as compared to the subject property to arrive at a value for our subject. Remember, our subject doesn't have any adjustments. We don't make any changes to it. We don't know what the value is yet, but we're going to try to determine the value by making adjustments. So let me give you an example. Let's say that my subject property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, okay? And the first comparable that I'm using to trying to determine the value of it is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house. Now remember, my subject has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and my comp has 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. It's superior compared to my subject, because would you rather have, all things being equal, 3 bathrooms or 2? Most people would go with the extra bathroom, right? So because we think of Robinhood again, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. Robinhood robs from the rich and gives to the poor. Is that comparable, rich or poor, compared to the subject? And if it has more bathrooms than the subject property does, then it's rich, it's superior, it's got more going for it there. And so we're going to rob from it. We're going to make a negative adjustment to that comp to bring it down to the level of our subject. Okay. Now, what if the neighbor property that was comparable had 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom? In that situation, we would give to it. We would rise it up. We would make a positive adjustment. We would say, well, somebody would naturally pay less in most cases for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house than they would my subject property, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So I'm going to give to that inferior property. I'm going to give to it. I'm going to add to it and bring it up to the value of the subject, right?